The trench offers less protection than expected. A reconnaissance drone operated by Ukraine's 77th Air Assault Brigade, Rubaka, observes a close-range artillery strike directed at a Russian soldier inside a frontline trench. He has no idea he's already been chosen. In the Donetsk direction, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone detects a lone Russian soldier moving across a dirt road near the front line. After confirming the identification, the reconnaissance crew quietly hands the coordinates to a nearby FPV team. Below, the soldier continues his march with a heavy backpack, apparently convinced the area is clear. He never looks toward the sky as the Ukrainian drone rapidly closes the distance from behind. The open terrain leaves almost no opportunity to disappear or change direction. Only when the distinct sound of the approaching FPV reaches him does he realize he has been under observation all along. He reacts instinctively, but the drone has already aligned its approach and commits to the final attack. The crossing is being watched from the very beginning. Near a village in the Siversk direction, a Ukrainian bombing drone spots a large group of Russian soldiers crossing an open field as they move toward the settlement. Rather than releasing its payload immediately, the operator continues observing from above to identify the most valuable positions. The drone soon detects several soldiers taking cover inside nearby bushes while the rest continue advancing. After confirming the location, the bombing drone lines up its approach and releases a precision munition onto the concealed position, disrupting the movement before it reaches the village. Everything changes the moment he decides to stop. During a routine patrol, a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone unexpectedly spots a lone Russian soldier moving into dense bushes near the front line. After confirming the sighting, the coordinates are immediately passed to a nearby FPV team already en route. Unaware that he is under aerial observation, the soldier pauses, sits down to rest, and remains completely still beneath the cover of the vegetation. Moments later, the Ukrainian attack drone arrives overhead and quietly confirms his exact position. As the sound of the approaching drone begins to echo through the area, the soldier finally realizes he has been found. Instead of attempting to flee, he remains motionless while the FPV steadily closes the remaining distance and commits to the attack. The forest hides them until it doesn't. Deep inside a dense forest in the Pokrovsk direction, a Ukrainian FPV drone operator begins a deliberate search for a group of Russian soldiers. Minutes earlier, a reconnaissance drone had tracked several troops entering the woodland before they disappeared beneath the heavy tree cover. With only their last known direction available, the FPV crew carefully follows the route while maintaining a low altitude to avoid branches and preserve control through the narrow gaps in the canopy. Every turn requires patience as the dense vegetation hides movement and limits visibility from above. The operator continues scanning one section after another, knowing the soldiers are likely resting somewhere beneath the trees. After an extended search, faint shapes finally emerge beneath a large tree where the group has stopped, apparently believing the forest had concealed their position. The FPV drone accelerates through the final opening in the branches before diving directly toward the center of the concealed group to begin the attack. The real destination is the true objective. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone identifies a small buggy fitted with a makeshift rear compartment for transporting troops as it approaches a tree line where several Russian soldiers are concealed. Rather than acting immediately, the drone quietly follows the vehicle and records its route. The buggy soon enters a nearby residential area that appears to contain temporary Russian positions. Once the vehicle unloads and the soldiers move into cover, the reconnaissance team relays the coordinates. Moments later, a Ukrainian FPV drone reaches the location and dives directly toward the newly occupied position to begin the attack. One wrong turn exposes everything. A Ukrainian FPV drone operator is flying low along a tree line near the front line, carefully scanning for movement beyond the dense vegetation. As the drone rounds a bend and emerges over a nearby dirt road, it unexpectedly spots a lone Russian soldier walking without nearby support. Realizing he has been detected, the soldier quickly presses himself into the surrounding branches, hoping the foliage will conceal him. The attempt proves ineffective, as the FPV drone steadily adjusts its course, confirms the target's position, and commits to the final attack run. Why do some soldiers stop moving instead of running? In this case, a lone Russian soldier is seen crossing an open field before suddenly dropping into the grass after noticing something unusual nearby. High above, a Ukrainian FPV drone is already closing in on his position. The soldier appears to recognize the approaching drone, yet instead of running or revealing his location with sudden movement, he remains completely still, seemingly hoping the surrounding vegetation will conceal him. The strategy proves unsuccessful, as the FPV operator steadily confirms the position, narrows the approach, and commits to the final attack. The shelter isn't as safe as it appears, near a devastated residential area in the Chasiv Yar direction. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone spots a group of Russian soldiers moving quickly through shattered buildings toward a makeshift shelter established nearby. Their hurried pace suggests they may have detected a potential aerial threat and are racing to find cover. The reconnaissance team continues tracking the movement from above and relays the coordinates to a nearby FPV crew. Moments after the last soldier disappears inside the shelter, a Ukrainian attack drone arrives over the position and dives directly into the entrance to begin the strike. The rescue mission is interrupted without warning. Two Russian soldiers are seen carrying a stretcher with a wounded comrade along a dirt road, attempting to move him to a safer position. As they continue across the open route, a Ukrainian FPV drone rapidly approaches from above and commits to an attack. After the strike, the evacuation is disrupted, and although all three soldiers appear to sustain additional injuries, none of them collapses as the footage comes to an end. Running faster isn't always enough. A Russian soldier is seen sprinting across an open field in obvious panic, with little natural cover available to shield his movement. Only seconds later, a Ukrainian FPV drone rapidly descends and locks onto his position. Realizing he has been spotted, the soldier pushes himself to run even faster across the exposed ground. But the effort proves ineffective. The drone quickly closes the remaining distance and commits to its final attack run before he can escape the open terrain. They thought the danger was already over. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone captures a group of Russian soldiers rushing out of a shelter that has just come under attack and moving toward another nearby position in search of safety. Their movement is immediately relayed to a nearby FPV team. Within moments, a second Ukrainian attack drone races toward the newly occupied shelter. Before the soldiers have time to regroup or secure the position, the FPV dives directly into the entrance and begins a second strike. One brief stop changes everything. Three Russian soldiers are seen resting beneath a large tree after what appears to have been a long movement across the front line. Their brief pause is quickly detected by a Ukrainian reconnaissance drone, which guides an FPV drone directly toward their position. Not far ahead, another group of Russian soldiers is moving along a dirt road when a separate Ukrainian drone suddenly dives toward them. Several soldiers attempt to defend themselves, but their response comes too late to stop the attack. In another nearby sector, beside an abandoned railway line, Russian troops traveling on motorcycles find their route abruptly cut off as yet another Ukrainian FPV drone closes in from above. Movement on the road quickly becomes the next target. This footage shows Ukraine's Phoenix Border Guard drone unit carrying out a series of coordinated FPV strikes against Russian troops traveling by vehicle along active frontline routes. Rather than focusing on a single target, the operators engage multiple movements, including small groups, pairs of soldiers, and individual riders traveling separately. The sequence highlights how continuous aerial reconnaissance allows drone teams to rapidly identify moving positions and coordinate repeated attacks as Russian forces attempt to relocate between sectors. The truck is spotted before it reaches its destination. A Ukrainian FPV drone operator from the Ronin UAS battalion of the 65th Mechanized Brigade races toward a Russian troop transport truck after reconnaissance detects it moving along a road in the Zaporizhia direction. As the drone rapidly closes the distance, the soldiers aboard realize the approaching threat and scramble to leave the vehicle. Their reaction comes only moments before the FPV reaches the target, leaving little time to escape as the drone commits to the attack. One soldier runs, but the pattern never really changes. After spotting a Ukrainian drone closing in, a lone Russian soldier breaks into a desperate sprint across open ground. But the attempt to escape is unsuccessful. The footage then shifts to a compilation released by Ukraine's Signum Battalion, showing multiple FPV operations conducted in a single day across the Pokrovsk and Lyman directions. Repeatedly, isolated Russian soldiers are observed moving without nearby support, concealed positions, or effective aerial protection. Persistent reconnaissance quickly identifies their movements, allowing FPV teams to coordinate rapid engagements. Some attempt to flee once they realize they have been detected, but the exposed terrain, limited countermeasures, and lack of coordinated support leave them with few practical options as aerial surveillance continues to shape the battlefield.